How to know if you have successfully impressed your subconscious mind with your desired end goal. If you are a conscious manifester or if you're learning about conscious manifesting, you probably hear very often that your desired end goal or the new story needs to be impressed on your subconscious mind in order for it to be expressed, which means for you to be able to experience it in your physical reality. And that's absolutely true. That's how it works. And no, you don't have to absolutely understand and know when and how it works, how it feels when it's impressed. But I know that a lot of people are curious about how this thing works, how it feels, and what are some signs that it has actually been impressed. I have often been asked this question from clients, and I'm going to give you the signs that I have experienced myself and what I have seen several of my clients experience. Now, disclaimer, it is not necessary that one or several of these happen for you in order for you to manifest your desire. I have a couple of times manifested things. The particular ones that I remember in this moment were manifestations where I was obsessively affirming all day for several days, and the manifestations came, but I didn't really notice any change. I really didn't notice anything because all my focus was on affirming. So I don't even know if these things have happened in those manifestations. So what I'm saying is that you can manifest without any of these happening. But if you are going through some of these things, or if you're just curious if there are ways to know whether something has impressed on your subconscious mind or not, then yes, this video is for you. This video is for all the curious people out there. And also, yes, again, if you are going through some of these things, just so you know what it is. So, not a necessity to manifest, though. Your manifestations will come if you persist in the story, if you do the things correctly. Those are topics for other videos. So, before I jump in, make sure to subscribe to my channel and help me to spread this wonderful message that everyone is the sole creator of their reality, that you are the only powerful creator of your own reality. And yeah, let's spread this message together and jump into the video. How to know if you have successfully impressed your subconscious mind with your new story. Oh, the order in which I mention these things is not any order in particular, so these are not it's not going to happen for you in that order. It's just, I'm just going to mention that this can happen, maybe one of those things or several of those things will happen. So the first thing I'm going to mention is you will notice that you are not entertaining the negative story anymore. When you are starting to manifest a new situation, you already have a different story about it. And you have a desire to change the situation, to experience it differently. So you are creating a new story. And while you are working on that new story, it often happens that people entertain the old story as evidence of why you can't have it. Evidence, quote unquote, because that's no evidence of anything. It's just an evidence of what you have been thinking. And depending on the situation, on the story, on the limiting beliefs, some people have a really hard time to get themselves mentally out of that story and place themselves mentally in the new story. As a result of your manifestation techniques, this is one of the things that will happen eventually. So if you notice that the old negative story is not bothering you much or at all, this is a good indicator that the new story is starting to sink in or has sunk in. So here, and also with everything else that I mentioned, make sure to still pay attention what happens in your mind, because you can have bad moments. It's just about bringing yourself back to the news story again and again until that becomes a habit, and it will become a habit. Another thing that can happen, which is very related to the first one, is that you're not reacting to the 3D, which is also something that I always work with clients on how to deal with the 3D, because again, if you are manifesting something in the 3D to be different, chances are that what already is bothering you. And there are many ways to deal with it. All the ways I'm working with are mental work. I always say manifestation is an inside job. It's going to happen in your own mind, in your own imagination. All the work we do is in our imagination in order to manifest something. So the 3D can really mess with that if we let it, of course, if we let it. It can bring up the old story. It can bring up negative emotions. So if you are noticing that the 3D situations, I mean, maybe something happened and you realize that if this happened a few weeks ago, I would have made a big deal about it. But now it's like, whatever. And it's not because you don't want your desire anymore. It's not because you don't love the person anymore, or you don't want the money anymore, or you don't want to heal anymore. Of course you do. But it's more a feeling of whatever the 3D is coming up with is not bothering you. It's just whatever. And that's such a great experience to have when you are consciously manifesting, because you realize all your power is in your mind. All your power is inside of you. That is when the 3D becomes completely powerless. That is a wonderful indicator of your new story sinking into your subconscious mind. Because when your subconscious mind accepts a new story, you're going to live from that end goal. And that's a wonderful thing. That end goal, yeah, that place, that feeling state, that state in general. And the third, I'm going to mention everything I have here, and then I have to remember to go a little bit deeper with this, the part where the subconscious mind changes. So the third indicator can be your automatic thoughts. I always tell my clients, pay attention to your automatic thoughts. They tell you what state you are living from. If automatic thoughts are your thoughts when you're not specifically affirming, or when you're not specifically doing your chosen technique, visualization, inner conversations, whatever you may be doing. When you are going about your day, your mind is going to think. Your mind doesn't stop thinking, ever. Not even when you're asleep, actually. That's where your subconscious mind is at work. But, and this is why we do all the techniques. Not in order for our mind to not think what it thinks. The old story, the negative story, the horrible stories sometimes people tell about themselves in their mind. But we do these manifestation techniques in order to replace those stories with other stories. This is, by the way, a topic for another video again, but you don't remove anything, you replace it. And this is what all these indicators are about, that your old way of thinking has been replaced with the new way of thinking. So when you do the work, at some point you will notice that your automatic thoughts are not the ones you had before. Your automatic thoughts, new automatic thoughts, are going to be from your new state, from your new story. They are going to be similar to your affirmations, or sometimes even your affirmations. Sometimes you will notice that you're just going about your day, you're working or you're doing daily tasks or whatever you're doing, and all of a sudden you're noticing that you were affirming your affirmations, but you were not doing it on purpose. That's a wonderful place to be again, manifestation wise, because it means that your mind is starting to accept your new story. It's becoming habitual, it's becoming normal, and this is actually what we are after when we do the techniques. We are after making it automatic, on autopilot, because once a belief has changed, I have been talking about limiting beliefs several times in my a bit older videos. If you check them out, you find the limiting belief, you do the work, and this is what you get. You have changed the belief. Now all your automatic thoughts about that topic is going to be from your new belief. And one of the wonderful things about it is that the new belief is going to start manifesting on autopilot. This is not something that you have to do all your life about that topic. It's just going to start manifesting. You're going to start experiencing it. The experience is going to reinforce the belief. Whenever you experience something good, you're welcome to react to it positively, because that also reinforces the belief. This is exactly why we don't want to react negatively. And again, we work with the negative reactions in order to change them. But when something is positive, you're welcome to react all you want. So another thing, again, related to the one I said before about the automatic thoughts, is your inner conversations that change based on your new story. Everyone has inner conversations. We do talk in our mind. Everyone does that. And this is used as a technique also. Neville Goddard talks about inner conversations a lot. He uses this as specific techniques, again, a lot. And the reacting to the 3D also. He has chapters about reacting to the 3D, how not to, what to know about it. So he's really wonderful about on these things. And every single technique that Neville Goddard talks about that I have used, it's the visualization, it's the inner conversations, it's the affirmations, it's feeling states, etc. It's all things that we already do. We already did, and always did, and always will be doing. It's things that we are born with. No one can take your thoughts away from you. You are going to think. No one can take your feelings away from you. You are going to feel. And the manifestation techniques that we do is only about directing them. Directing the non-physical parts of ourselves towards the reality that we want to experience. Everything we do in conscious manifesting is about that. So you're not inventing anything new. It's only taking under control what you already have, know, do. It's about control, really. Your mind, your feelings, etc. So your inner conversations, the conversations that you have, you probably have done this, especially before becoming aware about manifestation, complaining about that person to your mom or your friend in your mind, really complaining about them, or complaining to them, saying to the person everything that you think about them, really arguing, the arguments. Oh my God, this is a big one. People having arguments in their mind with their specific people, with their boss, etc. These are conversations. Those change based on your mental work. The inner conversations, when you notice that you're not complaining, but you're telling the story based on your new reality, new desired reality, that's a great indicator that something has changed on the inside. The last one I'm going to mention here is about feeling peaceful. And this, again, goes back to the first one about not entertaining the negative story. You're not entertaining the negative story because you're sort of feeling peaceful. You feel confident. Maybe you're not even thinking that much about your desire. You will. You always will. It's if you desire something, you desire something. The desire doesn't go away, but it comes from a place of it's mine, I know it's mine. It's kind of this knowing that it's yours. You realize that it's not there yet in the physical, in the 3D. It's only a matter of time. You're not going to entertain that either. So it's really about being in a more confident, calm, peaceful place, and your imagination being automatically from the desired reality. So this is it. If any of this is happening for you, congratulations, you have done a wonderful work. If it's not, don't worry. Persist in whatever you're doing. Persist in the story, in the knowing that it's yours, whatever works for you. Now, as I said earlier in the video, I am going to talk a little bit about the subconscious mind and when it takes something in, when it changes. In order for something to manifest, in order for something to change in the physical reality, because let's face it, that is why we consciously manifest something. We manifest situations to be different, people to treat us differently, us to feel differently about ourselves, us to feel differently in our bodies, different things. In order for anything in your reality, in your 3D to change, you are the one that needs to change. And in reality, there's nothing on the outside that is changing. It's us who are changing, and then we live the reality from that new changed imagination, the story that we hold within. And that's therefore we do all these techniques in order for us to change, for our thoughts, for our beliefs, for our constant imaginal acts to change. When those have changed, that is when these things happen that I mentioned, that your inner conversations become different, your feeling about the reality, your reactions to it become different. It's because you have changed. And that is the most important thing that you can do in order to manifest something on the outside. This is why you always want to focus on yourself. Everyone who has ever complained to me about something not changing on the inside, the first question I ask is, have you changed? Have you changed? Has your thought pattern changed? What are your automatic thoughts? What are your inner conversations? If those haven't changed, you can expect nothing from the 3D, because your 3D depends entirely on you. It depends entirely on what you're doing in your imagination, and what you're doing in your imagination consciously is going to be accepted at some point by your subconscious mind, and it's going to be expressed. So if you are completely focused on the negative story, the current 3D, some old patterns, then that is what you continuously impress on your subconscious mind, and it expresses. Sometimes it may feel as if you're stuck in the same place, but it's only because you are manifesting the same thing over and over again by holding your focus and attention on the same things, problems maybe, arguments, etc. So change the story and stay there as much as you can. Come back and experience that new reality in your mind as much as you can. You will create a habit for your mind. You will make the new story acceptable because you repeat it and it becomes normal. We have resistance in the beginning because it's something new, it's unknown, but the more you repeat it, the more known and familiar it becomes, and that is where it sinks in. And when it sinks in and your subconscious mind starts accepting the story as something familiar, something true, that is when you change, and then the 3D has to change, because that's the law. The law is of assumption. The law claims that in order for something to be experienced in the physical reality, it needs to be true in your mind first. And therefore, whatever is true in your mind has to be experienced in your physical reality. And this, of course, can be tested. It can absolutely be tested. So definitely test it. I am all for you putting this to the test. I am here just to guide you and give you ideas, give you things that you can try out. Those are all things that I have used myself. I like to use different things for different manifestations because that seems very natural to me, for depending on what I'm manifesting. And anything you will hear from me has been tested by myself and by clients and gained results with it. So because there are lots of things that I myself have done that don't work, we're not going to talk about those. Or maybe we will in a future video, just so you know what works, what doesn't. Anything that you want to manifest in your physical reality has to be done in your mind. That's very important. So with this, I will finish this video. I hope that this was inspiring for you. Once again, subscribe to the channel, help me spread the message, and see you in the next video.